So this is the first time we are recording I think it's the first time we're recording a bad review.
Oh.
Not a bad review, because we've probably done bad reviews. I mean...
yeah, bad shows.
That's a... But we're talking about
We've reviewed badly.
But, a review where we didn't like the thing we saw.
Yeah.
I realize we've been blowing smoke up a lot of movies' asses in the last few episodes. Not
because you didn't want to do the critic thing.
I don't want to do the...
We have slowly morphed into, okay, I guess we're movie critics,
But you know what broke us?
What?
Jurassic World 2.
Yeah. So I want to say, before we get into the actual show, before we take a giant Jurassic crap, and honestly, if people were just wanted to know what we thought of the movie to get our opinion and then be done with it, they already know.
Yeah.
Because we just ruined it there.
Yeah.
But I want to say, listen, if you've loved all the Jurassic Park movies...
You have bad taste in movies.
No. The original Jurassic Park is a classic.
It's more than a classic. It's one of the best movies ever made.
It created... By the way, it created rotoscoping. Like, they invented rotoscoping for Jurassic Park. They had to... Okay, how do we put 3D into 2D footage? Because... I mean, yeah, I saw the behind the scenes of how they shot it. Mm-hmm. They did not have the technology to put 3D. In fact, when they started the original Jurassic Park movie, they first went into claymation models.
Yeah, they were doing claymation. Yeah.
In fact, some people created an advanced form of claymation, like sort of mechanized. What do you call it? Stop motion figures, like stop motion dinosaurs and mechanized and whatever. And he's after what's his name, Steven Spielberg. He said no, I don't get. It took him a long time after he shot it to make it, but he said no. I want to figure out how to put 3D dinosaurs in here.
Yeah. And
rotoscoping was born. I don't know if that was according to the documentary...
You give that whole speech just now, they're like, well, I don't know if I'm right or not. But...
I always doubt myself. But I hadn't seen it in a movie, and it wasn't a thing until Jurassic Park.
Well, they had been using 3D animation, in animated movies.
Right.
For, Aladdin had some 3D animated elements to it.
Also, Terminator 2.
Yes.
I think that was the first time there was sort of a rotoscoping. We didn't know what to call it. They had to invent. Okay, how do we map the 2D and put 3D on it?
Yeah.
But then I think they basically not mastered it, but they figured out. Oh, okay, this is the process.
Yeah. Well, they
in Jurassic Park,
they figured out that they thought they could do it. And then they took a leap of faith.
They came up with a theory. Let's shoot it, and then we can map the 3D onto it.
And then they, what we call, built the parachute on the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in many ways, Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, was such a good movie, and it made so much money, that it also became sort of the downfall of, of practical effects, because nobody blows up a building anymore. Remember Lethal Weapon when they blew up? We live in Orlando, so they actually blew up the old Orlando City Hall. They shot it for a movie. They were blowing it up.
That was 3, right?
I think it was Lethal Weapon 3. And then, since Lethal Weapon 3 was looking for a building to explode, they came here and they shot a scene of the movie with the building exploding in the background. Nobody does that anymore. They just fake it.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
It is a lot cheaper than blowing up an actual building, but it's so much more. I'm not suggesting we actually blow up buildings, but people just go, oh well, we'll do it in the computer. The whole "we'll fix it in post-production" thing became the motto Oh, we can just do graphic.
Yeah.
Like last year with Superman, was it Justice League where not Henry Cavill, is that Superman's name? The guy who plays Superman had a mustache, and they just created he couldn't shave his mustache because he was in the middle of another movie, and then they're just like, well, we'll just do a 3D lip on him, it was terrible.
Yeah. That was not a good idea. Even if you didn't know what was wrong, you could see that something was wrong with his lip. Even if you didn't know about the whole mustache thing, there's something wrong.
Nobody did know, but there are some hilarious pictures out there on the internet of Superman with a porn stash.
Yeah.
The movie was not going to be good anyway, but at least we got porn stash Superman out of it.
It would have been funny as if they did like a green screen drape over his mustache. I wonder if that would have been more difficult or easier.
That would have been hilarious with the little white dots on around his mustache so they could track so they could rotoscope his movements.
Or what if they like latexed a mutant upper lip over that? Yeah.
That's almost what it looked like because it had zero life.
Yeah.
His mouth had zero life.
It was like really weird.
Anyway, we're talking about Jurassic World 2.
Oh, I wanted to do a disclaimer. Listen, if you don't care about logic in movies, if you just and you love dinosaurs, you just want to see okay, what if a whole bunch of dinosaurs were, in your house? Or what if you had to escape a exploding island and you had to save some of the dinosaurs? Because why? Who knows? Because you're stupid. Yeah. There were moments of the movie where I felt like, okay, this is like if I was at Universal Studios sitting in one of those rides, and this is one of those scenarios. Oh, it's exploding, and there's a dinosaur, and then, all of this is happening. There are moments where even if you're not enjoying yourself, you can't help but your heart is pumping, and because there are moments that are like a ride.
Yeah.
So it's possible that you can enjoy it if you're not worried about logic. But if you need logic in a movie to enjoy it, then you might be disappointed by this movie.
If CGI or practical effects, what we were talking about a minute ago, were the only problem with this movie, that would be a load off my mind. I wish they were really blowing up an island or with the volcano and the lava and everything.
Right.
If I was sitting here just complaining that I wish there were more practical effects in the movie, we'd not be having a problem right now. But the effects are the least of our worries for this thing. Like, in fact, we just saw the movie an hour ago. I mean, I didn't really want to do a Jurassic World review because I wasn't sure I was sure I didn't want to see the movie.
Yeah.
I loved the original Jurassic Park. But by the time they made Jurassic Park 3, I had stopped watching them. I've still never seen Jurassic Park 3.
3 made me furious. Like, 3 is worse than this movie, for sure. But if you didn't like 3, I think you're not going to like this one.
So, when they made Jurassic World, I like Bryce Dallas Howard, and I really like Chris Pratt. So I thought, let's go see.
Isn't this in a way a remake of Jurassic Park 2? It just basically let's get dinosaurs off the island, and
so here we have the conceit of stupidity.
Yeah.
For you to even walk into this movie and sit down is for you to admit that the human beings that exist in the Jurassic Park universe are inherently stupid. They're just dumb. They did not learn their lesson, what was it, 1994 when Jurassic Park came out. They didn't learn it when Jurassic 2 came out. They didn't learn it when Jurassic Park 3 came out. And then Jurassic World came out. And you thought, how could they possibly not learn their lesson? Yeah. Now they're proving that they're just stupid.
Also, isn't this a United Nations issue? You would think the UN would be weighing in on this. And,
would be weighing in on this.
but the idea is if you're rich and you're evil, you can do whatever the hell you want. And you could make dinosaurs and put them wherever you want and sell them. And there are people that want to buy them just to shoot them. By the way, I saw a picture where a lady on Facebook, where a lady killed a giraffe and took a photo by it. Like, yay, I killed this monstrous thing. And but it's a giraffe. You know?
Giraffe is like, isn't a giraffe kind of like a horse with a long neck? They're not they're not violent, are they?
No.
You don't have to like work real hard to shoot
In fact,
giraffe, do you?
when giraffes fight, it's funny because they just hit
You know what
necks.
I want to see?
Giraffes just hit necks together.
You know what I want to see is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic pork?
Park.
That's a porn.
Jurassic Park.
Park.
We're all running from giraffes.
Oh, giraffes.
Jurassic Park. We're running from giraffes, and every time something happened, the giraffe stops and goes, or whatever sound giraffes make.
Ow, it hit me with its neck, and now it's falling because it's top heavy. Oh, it's kicking its legs. Now it's dangerous.
Side note, have you ever seen a giraffe's tongue?
Yeah.
It's black. It looks like it's got something seriously wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, brush your teeth or something, man. It looks like it's got some cankers or something.
Yeah, you don't want to get licked by that.
It looks rough, like harsh.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It grabs leaves and branches and
That should be.
eats those
Isn't that
all
what
day.
teeth are for?
Yeah. I don't know. What are giraffes' teeth like? I'm not even sure. Probably like just grinding molars.
They actually look like horse teeth. I think I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do another. We'll do another show about that. We'll go watch some Nat Geo later and figure out what giraffe teeth are like.
There's no logic. By the way, it's going to be hard. I think we're just going to talk about the first half of the movie and maybe like scenarios, but it's hard not to spoil the movie while talking about
because
it.
because everything in the trailer is basically from the first
the
part
island.
of the movie, so we don't want to talk about too much outside of that. But why are the people in the world of Jurassic Park so dumb about this? Like, this movie starts out with the debate of should we protect the dinosaurs' lives?
Yeah.
Now, in a world where we're talking about lions and tigers and bears, you're supposed to say it. Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Oh my. in the world of lions and tigers and bears,
Oh my.
I get wanting to protect that wildlife, okay?
Yeah.
But
Especially the Brontosaurus. The one that got left. Like the boats going away from the island and lava's coming. And the Brontosaurus came to the bridge and was like, what are you doing, guys? Bro! How could you? You know, and then the whole cloud of smoke. It was so dramatic.
yeah. But I get wanting to protect wildlife. I really do. What I don't understand is why are we debating? First of all, dinosaurs lost the fight in nature.
Yeah.
And we created a new problem by reinventing them, right? Mm-hmm. So I get that it's like it's animal rights issues, all of that stuff. However, nobody's talking about how there's so much corruption going on around this that dinosaurs are they're just going to get out. They're going to kill everybody. They need to put a lockdown on this shit right now.
Listen, we have issues where if people introduced anacondas into the wild in Florida, and it's very quickly threatening our whole ecosystem.
It's pythons, but anacondas are pythons, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just really big snakes that they squeeze their prey and then swallow it whole.
Yeah.
But just like snakes and certain frogs, just small little tiny animals art can threaten a whole ecosystem and just mess up the food chain. We're talking about dinosaurs that can eat humans and not just... so, I mean, I told you that this is like... this movie was like if we went to... like in the movie Aliens, like we went to the xenomorph planet and we're like, oh, we've got to save xenomorphs. We can't let Ridley nuke them. We've got to save one because, you know, they're going to go extinct even though they kill and eat everything.
Yeah.
I feel like this is as stupid as let's save xenomorphs and bring them to Earth.
Yeah.
Because that's the stupidest idea ever on the entire planet because they will kill everything.
So, okay, so that's just, it's just dumb that we're even debating it, but they're debating it in this universe. It's the premise to which the whole thing starts.
You feel like somebody on the payroll would like leaving somebody for dead on what do you call it? On an island that's exploding. Like, oh, I'm going to stun you and just leave you for dead on an island filled with dinosaurs and a volcano that's blowing up. But there was no reason for that.
Well, there's no reason for anything in this movie.
Right. That's the point we're trying to make.
Yeah, it starts out with, first of all, we're going to say Bryce Dallas Howard's character, who was sort of like the...
Is that the Silence of the Lambs guy?
No, Bryce Dallas Howard is Ron Howard's daughter, the redheaded girl in the movie.
Oh.
She's in every scene of the effing movie.
Okay.
Her. The girl.
I thought that was Jessica Chastain. No,
I'm cutting this out of the podcast.
No wonder she looks...
I'm cutting that out of the podcast.
The whole movie, I was like, she looks so different.
Why does Jessica Chastain look so different?
Yeah, it's like she doesn't look like that lady in the poker movie. I'm terrible with names. Apparently I'm bad with faces too, because I couldn't tell it was a completely different whole person. I think I just saw Hot Redhead and thought, oh yeah.
It's never ending with you, man. I can't even catch my breath right now. So, she's now suddenly an animal rights activist. Like, last time she ran the theme park. Like, she was in charge of all the logistics on the theme park. Now, suddenly, she's an animal rights activist for dinosaurs. To save the lives of the dinosaurs. That makes no sense. She gets asked by a rich person who wants to protect the sanctity or the life or the existence of dinosaurs, and sends her back to the island because they need her palm print to open up some cage or something somewhere.
No, it's so that they can find Blue.
Right, so they can...
the dinosaur that...
But they need her to lock... They need her handprint to open the security system.
So that they
can track the dinosaur.
Track the dinosaur.
Right.
They can get all the other dinosaurs. It's just the smart Velociraptor Blue that, what's his name, trained.
Right. The dinosaur that they make a point of telling you can smell you from a mile away.
Right.
But spends the whole rest of the movie not knowing where anybody is. It just walks around and bumping into people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't respond to that because I would spoil something.
So she's the only one that can go. Okay, so they send her. She goes and gets Chris Pratt because he, of course, trained the one dinosaur that they're looking for.
Blue, yeah. By the way, that's the one name I can remember out of everything is Blue, the dinosaur.
Yeah. But the fact that he trained a dinosaur in the first place is ridiculous. However, they genetically encoded this dinosaur way back before Jurassic World 1 started. They genetically encoded the thing so it would be more susceptible to...
taking commands?
Yeah, taking human commands or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
What were they thinking? They're going to send that after Osama bin Laden or something? Like, I feel like the terrorists would rip it apart.
I just don't know. it's Jurassic Park. The idea for Jurassic Park in the movie Jurassic Park, the idea for that park was pure.
Yeah.
That guy was like, "Look, I want everybody to be able to see dinosaurs." Since then, everything that extended the life of this franchise has been motivated by greed
and stupidity.
Yeah. So they go back to the island, which, by the way, is about to blow up from a volcano, which never existed in any of the other movies.
Yeah,
but suddenly it's a volcano.
That's
okay.
one of the major problems. Like, why would you?
So suddenly there's a volcano. I can buy that because there are volcanoes all over the place in that area. Okay. They get there and they're like, well, we only have about 3 days before this volcano is going to erupt. We got to get as many dinosaurs off the island before the thing erupts. They're there for like 5 minutes before shit starts hitting the fan. And there's no build-up. There's no build-up to any of the suspense. I said this to you in the car. The only reason anything happens in this movie is because they want this to happen. So for that to happen, this stupid thing has to happen.
Right.
So okay. So since we want them to have to be escaping a volcanic island, we need them to get to the island. And since we want the island to erupt because that will be fun to watch, we need them to do this. So that has to happen so we can get them there. It's not motivated by good storytelling or logistic storytelling.
It's purely by, like I told you in the car on the way here, that I think they reverse engineered the script, where they started with, okay, how do we get them off the island and, into America or wherever.
I think it seems like they're like, oh, I want to make another Jurassic Park movie, but do we really have to do it on an island? Does the island have to be a part of it? So they blow the island up.
Can we just skip the part with the island and just get them to
wherever?
Have them crawling in people's houses? Which that's in the trailer. It shouldn't be a spoiler.
Yeah. But how they get to the house and why they're in the house and it's just dumb. And here's the thing. The premise of the movie, hey, we're in the thing, the island blows up and we're trying to save dinosaurs' lives. Okay, whatever. Plus there's a lot of money. If they had said, we want to save these dinosaurs because there's a lot of money that we've invested in this research that's gone into these dinosaurs over the last 25 years or whatever, I would buy into that. But not, we need to protect the dinosaurs from extinction. Because they're already extinct. Dinosaurs are extinct.
Yeah.
So, that happens. And it just...
I think, like you said, it would have been better if the dinosaurs figured out a way... or something happened naturally where they got out, as opposed to man just being ridiculously stupid.
You said it.
Oh, the pterodactyls.
The pterodactyls.
First of all,
okay, so you get there, and this is not a spoiler at all because the pterodactyls got out, I think, in the last movie, or at least in a previous movie at some point.
And at least in that movie, they were still on the island. I guess the island was too far away for them to fly off, and there's still food there. So at least they were still there, even though they could fly anywhere to kill anyone.
But in this movie, first of all,
somehow
dinosaurs have never escaped this island, even since there are birds. Even though there are birds, no flying dinosaur has escaped them. Even though there's plenty, they're only in Costa Rica. Costa Rica's not that far off from anywhere, really. Yeah. They could easily fly. Anyway, these flying dinosaurs are just flapping around on Jurassic Park.
They're the worst idea ever. Like, the worst dinosaurs. Worse than T-Rex.
Could you please go on the rant you went on as the credits were rolling in the movie?
Okay.
Let's just save...
By the way, stay till the end of the movie because there's an extra scene
Yeah.
that infuriates me.
If you want to call it an extra scene, it's like maybe 15 seconds long.
But
Yeah.
on the subject of Tyrannosaurus,
You mean pterodactyl?
pterodactyls, why would you save them? First of all, this is like Noah's Ark for dinosaurs, this movie. And somehow it went from taking, 2x2, whatever. Why would you bring pterodactyls over here? My thing is they're just flying baby eaters.
Yeah.
Or, they can just fly wherever, never know when they're coming. They could just come up, grab your kid, it's dead.
Yeah.
So why, no one would do that. There's no reason to, why? First of all, they shouldn't have been made. It's because they're just going to fly around and eat and kill people, and then, they're worse than xenomorphs from Aliens because they're flying people eaters,
Yeah.
and they brought them. How could you weaponize that? How could you? What reason would you bring pterodactyls over here?
Well,
just so they can escape and eat people.
Well, this is a prime example of the story. There are like, what are there, like 7 or 11 different stories in the world, and everything we've ever seen are just a variation on a set of like a handful of different stories. And this is man playing God because man is arrogant, man is greedy, and man thinks that they can control everything. They think they're smart enough to control everything, and they can't, clearly.
It would be a little different, more plausible if they put trackers, after they captured everything, they put trackers on every single one of them. Then I could see how, then maybe...
But that doesn't work either because they're going to procreate.
That was the other thing. Why bring them whatever.
Because they're greedy and stupid. So...
You're basically saying, I don't care if it's like Jeff Goldblum said in the movie, we're making man extinct.
Yeah, we're making ourselves extinct by doing this. Yes. They're here before us, and if we're not careful, they will be here after us. Now, the movie is filled with bad writing. Not just like, hey, this story sucks. The things that people say to each other are stupid.
Yeah, well, because it's just mechanical. It's just, how do we get from this scenario to the next scenario? How do we get everybody in these ridiculous, dumb situations?
We have the nerd character, who's a computer guy, and he's like the nerd. He's ridiculous. Jumpy, he's fidgety.
You would never...
Blah, blah, blah.
You could never bring a person like that. He would never come. That's the guy who's in the mother's basement who plays video games all day. He's not...
What was the scene in the helicopter where the nerd said... they said something about flying. You've never... Oh, he's like, you're just as likely to die riding a horse. And he said, no, I'm not. I wouldn't ever ride a horse, so I've got 0 chance of dying. And then Chris Pratt says, you've never flown on a plane before? He says something, and then Chris Pratt says, well, I rode my motorcycle through through the jungle in front of a herd of dinosaurs. And the nerd says, we're not compatible.
Yeah, I felt that was awkward. Because I felt
forced.
like, was that supposed to be a laughing moment? Because I don't hear anyone laughing.
It was forced.
Yeah.
Everything people say is forced to be a joke or exposition or just something dumb.
That's what he was there for. He was there to be comic
and it was
relieved.
Terrible. I was not relieved comedically anytime he spoke. What I was relieved is when he stopped speaking.
By the way, being that they needed the lady for her handprint. What was he there for?
He had to get into the security system.
But that's what she was there for.
She could have done that, yeah. Well, he had to unlock it in case there were problems. He had to hack into it.
And also, at the beginning of the movie, the bad people already were getting in there and releasing dinosaurs by opening gates and not closing them.
Yeah.
So what?
First scene of the movie.
Why couldn't they just...
First scene of the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Just one bad choice after the other. In the world of Jurassic Park, it's almost as if the people who live in the world of Jurassic Park came out of that world and then wrote this movie. Because there's one bad choice after the next.
After seeing this movie, I think everybody that lived in that Jurassic World, they need to die anyway. They're just so stupid. Just the dinosaurs need to kill them off.
Except Chris Pratt and Jeff Goldblum.
Right.
Jeff Goldblum, believe it or not, there's one thing that I did like about this movie. It's Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Chris Pratt, it's impressive how entertaining he could be still inside of this movie.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a moment where I was like rolling my eyes at Chris Pratt like I was rolling my eyes at everything else. He was saying stupid shit, but he was saying it with such like charm that you were forgiving him for it. There's a scene, and you can see it in the trailer, where he dives through the mouth of a T-Rex and just in time, almost like the way Indiana Jones gets his whip from underneath the sliding door, except that's believable. And I don't believe that a T-Rex is going to be that slow to bite. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tense scene.
It was dumb. And then Chris Pratt gets out, and he sort of winks at Bryce Dallas Howard, the redheaded girl we talked about a minute ago. Jessica Chastain. I'm going to call her Jessica Chastain for the rest of this movie review. Where he winks at her and he goes, "Did you see that?" And sort of smirks. And he made it better because he's so like likable. His likability made him the shining star of this movie. However, it's not hard to be the shining star of this movie. You just have to be better than everything else in it, and it's not hard. But he's just so likable. I was worrying when I saw this movie that he might be getting like he's in like everything. It seems like he's in his own Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's in the Infinity War. He's in Captain America last year. And now he's in the Jurassic World. He's in like 2 or 3 different movies a year.
How does he have time to
He's got the Lego Movie 2 coming out.
He better be saving his money.
And I'm like, dude, every movie's going to have Chris Pratt in it before long, and we're going to get tired of him. But he's so much fun to watch, even in a shitty movie, especially in a shitty movie, really. Because you can count on him to at least be fun to watch.
Yeah.
But you also said the action in this movie is at least fun to watch, is watchable.
Yeah.
The action is
you
suspenseful.
suffer through dumb moments of stupidity to get to the actually entertaining and fun action scenes, even though, especially the whole thing to do with the island is just ridiculous.
There's a good 20 or 30 minutes of this movie where they're really just running and jumping from things and hiding from things. And I'm not going to say you can't mess that up.
There are fun, enjoyable moments. And if that's all you care about, then you can enjoy the movie.
Yeah. But every time, I swear to you, I remember that we were 3/4 of the way through a movie, and every time I started to relax into it a little bit and go, okay,
yeah, like
something stupid would happen.
Halfway through, I started being like, okay, I think I can tolerate this part of the movie. I can tolerate now, sort of making sense. And then then
you slip back. They kept getting to where it's almost like they're almost about to hit the sweet spot and coast into the ending. Then suddenly somebody would say something. Like honestly, they would they would force a creative choice into the thing, like locking the girl in her room. When the guy locked the girl in her room, you know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, no actual girl that exists in the world today would do any of the things that girl did in this movie. I mean, this is like a living nightmare. All your worst nightmares ever coming true.
You see it in the trailer, so this isn't even going to be a spoiler.
The dinosaur in her bedroom.
She goes and runs into her room and hides under the covers.
First of all, doesn't she escape from a room and then she ends up sneaking back in?
She escapes from a room and then runs back into the room and then hides under the covers.
Under the covers, which...
Yeah.
not if there's an actual dinosaur chasing after you.
Yeah, I guess that's something that a little kid is cliched to do. Like, you think of a kid running to the room, but this girl is smart, supposedly, but she does dumb kid stuff.
Yeah, in the trailer, I thought that the kid was asleep and then just woke up with a dinosaur in the room, so it made sense.
So stay tuned for spoiler chat at the end of this. At the end of this show, we're going to talk about some of the even more ridiculous stuff.
We'd like people to go to the Apple iTunes store, please, and give us a review. But we're all over. We're in Stitcher. We're on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So you can go to, what's our website's name? Movieism.com. Yes.
Were you pretending?
I was pretending.
Okay, I was about to say.
After all the work I've done on the website.
So that's it for this week. If you want to contact us, it's movieisms@gmail.com. Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You
Twitter
can find
is movieisms_pod.
Right. You can find all that stuff at our website, movieisms.com. Yep. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned for spoiler chat right after this. And
there's going to be a lot of it, because the whole last half of the movie is what we're going to talk about now.
And, yeah, that's it.
Peace out. The end.
Cut. Movieisms is a production of Super Mega Ultra Entertainment and is produced by Michael Beckemeyer and Bradley Kingston. If you'd like to find out more, follow us on Twitter or Instagram. And make sure you click like on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/movieisms. If you're enjoying this podcast, please take a moment and give us a 5-star review in iTunes. It only takes a minute, and it helps us out more than you can imagine. Thank you very much, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies. Okay, we're back.
So now the actual conversation, because we couldn't talk about anything in the movie, really, because it's all spoiler once they get off the island.
Let's just say that...
Spoiler alert
Spoiler alert, if you are listening to this and you have not seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled for you, keep listening. But if you don't want it spoiled for you, turn this off right now and come back after you've seen the movie. But for the rest of you... Here we go. So the island blows up, and they get in a fucking ship. First of all, okay. So they fall off in that little like ball thing into the water. And he shoots a gun underwater.
Like the first, they couldn't
Is that realistic?
You can. It is realistic, but
doesn't the water slow the hammer down so that it doesn't actually fire under? Because it's the speed at which the hammer taps the bullet.
I've seen it on MythBusters. There are some guns that can shoot underwater.
Okay, then we'll give it that. He shoots it twice and then stops. What happened? Did his gun jam or something?
I think so, didn't it? But anyways, the bullets didn't have enough velocity to break it anyway, and it was just making holes. It wasn't...
That doesn't make any sense to me. The gun is powerful enough to shoot a bullet underwater, but the bullets don't travel this like a millimeter far enough to shatter the glass.
Was it bulletproof?
I don't know. Glass? Why would they make it bulletproof? These are fucking
idiots.
You
want it to be dinosaur-proof. I thought that was the point.
Yeah, but we know they're not, because we've seen all the other shit in the movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, they get out of that. They crawl back to the island and then sit there and watch all the dinosaurs get pulled off the island, and they're like, "Oh, we've been lied to." Yeah, no shit. No shit, you've been lied to. There's money at stake, you dumb fuck. You know what I mean? It's like...
By the way, it's infuriating. I didn't talk about it much because I didn't want to really spoil it. But for no reason at all, that guy just shoots him and leaves him for dead. for dinosaurs to come eat or for lava. And
Right.
and that's what we were talking about before.
Sorry, we're back on that. Yes.
That they just did that just so you could have a scene that they thought was funny, where he's doing Jim Carrey,
flopping
around, getting away from lava. It's forced moments.
You know what's funny though is listening to you complain about it. So maybe in a way it was worth it.
Yeah, lava!
Right.
3 darts is too much.
Right. So they fought with the he goes and he's trying to reach out and he's trying to ensure Blue that everything's going to be okay, and they pop him with the darts, and then he shoots him with the dinosaur. What's that stuff called? Tranquilizer. They trank him. Yes, now I sound like I'm in Jurassic World, right?
It's just needless murder.
And then they leave him. So should he have died from that? He got shot in the chest with a dinosaur tranquilizer. Okay, so anyway, the thing blows up and they leave. They grab the dinosaur. They grab the other girl. So they grabbed her because she's a vet, right? She's like an animal doctor. So they needed her, I guess. And then they just left him. And then he wakes up.
Wouldn't you think they might want him? None of that made any sense. Because if you needed him to get the dinosaur in the first place, maybe you want to keep him. And there was no motivation. It'd be different if they fought earlier and they introduced him as just really bad and evil, and there was a reason for, like, maybe he saw the bad guy do something and he didn't want anyone else to know. But also, there's the whole team of people were just like cool with.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs can
what
eat
you
them.
called senseless murder.
Yeah. No one. It's not. It was just unmotivated and unnecessary just for that.
Here's the thing. Even though he's been shot with a dinosaur tranquilizer
and survived,
he now wakes up moments later. The dinosaurs, when they get shot with this tranquilizer, even though they're bigger and way more powerful, they're out for hours. Chris Pratt wakes up in just a couple minutes, and then he's unable to move, and then suddenly his legs come to life fully. Not just struggles a little bit.
Within seconds, as lava's approaching him.
And then he is able to twist his body in he must be doing his yoga because his legs are all over the place.
It was funny.
If
I watched it out of context, that is a great scene. That's hilarious. But how they got there was...
But his arms don't work. For whatever reason, his legs work, but his arms don't work. And then he rolls over the log, and then suddenly, oh, my arms work perfectly now. It's not like they slowly come back to life. Like the Tin Man, where he's gotten some oil finally and it starts to work. They don't work, and then suddenly they do. And then he's running full force off the island. It's just
and he
stupid.
Just happens to be, by the way, and the two ladies happen to get out of the thing right in front of where, just coincidentally, they're right there in front of where Chris Pratt is. Yeah. And it just so happens that everything's blowing up right at that moment. And then the lava and everything speeds up all of a sudden, and then dinosaurs, and then, hey, we're all together now, let's get, and then the thing in the...
Yeah, there are hundreds of dinosaurs. And by the way, even though the dinosaurs are all running...
But they're all over the island, but for some reason they all decided to run in that direction.
That way, right. And even though they're running scared, they're running away, they're running scared, they still stop to fight each other.
Right.
Which makes no sense.
It's fight or flight, not both. Right? Supposedly they were all in flight.
Right. Right, they ran past Chris Pratt. They all ran past him because he's perfect. He'd be perfect to eat, but they're not worried about eating right now. But, this guy over here, I'm going to fight him. Which, by the way, only happens because...
And he didn't bother to eat or anything. He's just like, I hate you. Take that. And then walks off.
I like how you flipped your hand. I hate you.
Oh, yeah.
I hate you. But the only reason that dinosaur fought the other dinosaur was to stop the first dinosaur from eating Chris Pratt. There's no need. There's no reason for it.
There was no
other than...
Speaking of motivation, there's no motivation for the dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs have no motivation.
What's my motivation?
The dinosaurs are having a serious existential crisis because they're like, why are we here? We feel like we're being abused. We are not supposed to be. We shouldn't be here in this story right now.
Right.
This is bad storytelling.
I do want to say that as far just one check mark towards good storytelling in this movie. When you're seeing the dinosaurs like go in the water and you're watching them struggle, you're like, that
visually it was stunning.
That rhinoceros is not going to, that creature is too heavy and pokey. It's not going to float. I felt bad watching it struggle and go for air with this little stumpy things. You can't swim with those. It felt bad. And then that moment when it's a brontosaurus with the long neck. It was so obvious that it was saying, well, bro, where are you going? You could just hear what he was thinking on that ledge. And I mean, they really milked that moment. I mean, there were good moments.
Okay.
I felt for the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So they did put some emotional motivation into helping the audience go on with the madness. Because there were moments where you're like, okay, I feel bad for the dinosaurs, maybe.
They have to get off the island and onto the ship that they're all escaping on, which is another bad idea. With all the hundreds of dinosaurs.
Do you remember how much trouble they went through just for the T-Rex in Lost World? I think it was Jurassic Park 2. All the trouble for the one T-Rex. It was just a big. And somehow they're getting all of those dinosaurs all on the same ship, and then no problem.
So they jump in a truck, and they're speeding down the thing.
And then hit an invisible ramp.
And they hit an invisible ramp and jump onto the boat. By the way, paramilitary organization, nobody notices a giant truck jumping onto the ship before the bay door closes. Which, by the way, closes just as soon as they get in. Someone's looking. They just don't see the giant truck jump through midair and land on their ship. And no one knows they're there for the whole however much period of time goes by. And then we're getting to my main complaint. Not my main complaint, because I've complained a lot. But we're getting to another. They're hiding out. They have to go get blood from the T-Rex so that they can bring Blue back to life. Because Blue got shot, and we all care about the dinosaurs more than we care about human life.
Well, I guess because there's money. There's millions of dollars on the table. Save it.
And then they take a nap and wake up at the rich guy's house.
Wherever that is.
Where is it? Did I miss this title card at the beginning when they were first there at the first place, where it said so and so house, Costa Rica, or something like that? But they took a ship, and it wasn't. You were talking about didn't time pass? Not much time passed because the dinosaurs were all still kind of tranquilized.
But traveling by boat is the longest form of travel. It's
the slowest form of travel.
Yeah, you have to travel around all the land masses.
Yeah.
It should have taken a couple of days at least, or more.
The slowest form of travel.
Yeah.
Unless the guy just lived right around the corner. And if he did live right around the corner, your argument for the pterodactyls is even more sound, because those pterodactyls would have gotten to that island. They would have gotten there.
Why is no one afraid of these things because they could just, any moment you leave your house, should be terror. Every moment you're outside should be, they could come at any moment. Where are they,
Yeah.
Why aren't they more concerned about pterodactyls?
No one cares.
I couldn't leave, I don't leave my house now as it is, but if pterodactyls were, even if they told me the last sighting of pterodactyls was, halfway across the world, I'd still be thinking, yeah, but they could be here now.
Those bastards can fly.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't believe that the pterodactyls can only fly for 5 minutes or so at a time. Those are dinosaurs. They're beasts.
There are tiny birds that can fly halfway across the world. If they can do it, pterodactyls can too.
So, but then we find out the main ploy is to sell these dinosaurs into captivity, basically, to governments, people who want to hunt them. So people are going to buy the dinosaur, release it onto their property, and then hunt it down and kill it, as if that's true hunting. That's like pay for play. Like you can buy, you can buy lives so that you can beat the game, so that you can buy more lives and get more points. So you can, anyway.
I guess.
And people want to weaponize the things, even though they've never successfully done that in anything. People still think that they can weaponize.
I don't understand
the dinosaurs.
And by the way, the examples that guy gave for examples of where we weaponized horses and elephants, but you didn't really weaponize a horse; you just rode it. And an elephant is weaponized by the fact that you can just trample through stuff. But not like, sick 'em.
Sick 'em. Sick 'em, boyo.
And they took the thing that cats have an issue with, like laser pointers, and they just thought they'd apply that to dinosaurs. I
like how you call the laser pointer as if it's a drug problem. Cats have an issue with the laser pointers.
They can't resist it.
They can't resist it.
It's a fact. So they just tried it out with dinosaurs, I guess.
So we have the good guy turns out his character totally shifts from good, helpful guy who wants to do this thing to he's just now the worst bad person ever. He's locking kids into their room. He's threatening to kill kids. It's just like this guy.
Oh, and he murders the father old guy. Just
the father old guy.
Everyone
kills the guy.
It's just so convenient that everyone is just whatever they need to be in the moment to continue further the story into ridiculousness.
And so once they get into the house, that is where the story starts to, not the story, but the action starts to take over, and it's bearable for longer periods of time until something dumb happens again. I do think that it's like you said when we first walked out, it was easier to watch once the action truly got started.
Yeah.
But I never could relax into it because something stupid would happen. Like people would intentionally let the killing dinosaur out. Just let this out. Let's invite some more chaos into this ridiculous scenario.
Yeah. Just nobody... I just want you to know that the heroes of this movie are responsible for mass murder. They're mass murderers. Even letting that hammerhead dinosaur out.
He took out like 30 people.
In that room full of people. People are going to die. You murdered them.
The heroes of this movie they're mass murderers. They're mass murderers. They're responsible
especially that girl. That was the point I was making with the xenomorphs. That's like Newt. I think Newt from Aliens. Mm-hmm. That's like Newt hitting the button to release all the xenomorphs onto Earth, into the world, saying, "Oh, they're creatures too." What the? Weren't you just chased and everyone you knew died and did the whole, and you barely survived, and they had to save you from, and. Now you feel for them, and God, all the just stupid. Oh, I'm sorry.
So
You're getting me riled up.
So there's another scene where, but stuff like this would happen. Oh, the dinosaurs are running from the dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. Hey, wasn't this movie a stupid movie a few minutes ago? Yeah, but now we're watching dinosaurs destroy shit. Okay. Oh, here comes another thing that pulled me out of it was the super killing weaponized dinosaur is out because somebody let him out. And then
because the guy wanted to get a tooth.
Get a tooth. Which I get, as a hunter, he wants to do that, but
where would that dinosaur learn to play dead? How would it know that, oh, these things are meant to knock me... Well, I guess the first time, I don't know.
It gets out, and it goes and it traps the Chris Pratt, the Bryce Dallas Howard, Jessica Chastain character, and the little girl in the little glass enclosure. Which, how do they even get in there? I don't know. But they're standing there. This dinosaur that can...
By the way, it can sense them with smell, but somehow they were...
Right, it didn't see it until the light came on. Right, that's what I'm saying. It can smell them from over a mile away unless there's a piece of glass in front of them.
Well, that's the Velociraptor they were talking about.
But that thing is basically a super raptor. Yeah. Okay, so
with longer arms.
This thing burst through the glass, and fake trees fell on it. And even though that thing can burst through metal and cages and everything, this fake tree stumped this dinosaur. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, you couldn't."
The lighting from above, what do you call that? Track lighting.
Yeah,
that fell on him.
And that stuff was fake. That stuff was all fake. You could tell by the way it fell.
Yeah.
Like
fake stuff usually isn't heavy.
It's a set, right? So, but since it looked like a tree, they let it exist like a tree in the thing. And I'm not saying it's fake because it's a movie prop. It was fake because it was supposed. It's a fake setting.
It's window dressing.
It's a window dressing, right? So, and then that also fell on Bryce Dallas Howard, who she's acting like a big tree fell on her, but it's fake. It's one of those like. Paper mache or
styrofoam.
Yeah, it's a fake tree. She gets a claw dug into her skin. Chris Pratt.
Oh, that's right. And she doesn't act like her leg was hurt, but after that, I just remembered.
I saw her limp once.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw her limp once, but all the other times she needed to be running, so we didn't worry about it. So Chris Pratt,
that's the moment when the girl decides to go run to her. No, okay, go ahead.
She got separated from them.
Yeah.
So he moves the log off of her. Okay, and then
the dinosaur chases the little girl.
Right, and then Bryce Dallas Howard kisses him for no reason.
Would you really be thinking about kissing someone when there's a dinosaur trying to eat you?
No, that's what I'm saying. Stupid shit like that happens that kept me from being able to set into the movie. Where you can't enjoy the movie because stupid, ridiculous...
Somebody... I don't care if it's like... Let's say it was Alyssa Milano and I'm in that situation. She's reaching down to kiss me and I wanted it my whole life.
My whole life.
I would slap her the fuck in the face and say, "What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of here!" And I wouldn't give a shit that I could never get with her. You're not... Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
What the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then he goes and... This movie is full of things like... Instead of running, people stand and watch the dinosaur fight.
That was that whole scene like in the beginning where the thing's open and everyone in the audience is thinking, just jump on their laps. There's dinosaurs. Why are you standing there? And then he walks around and stands there until all of a sudden the machine comes on and the door closes. It's like, you deserve to get eaten.
Okay, so
stupid.
When Chris Pratt finds the girl in her room, hiding under the covers and the raptor thing is.
Which, by the way, first of all, it's eaten a lot of people. It should have been full and not really.
That's what I was thinking. This thing must be ravenous because it's eaten like 20 fucking people.
And now it wants to expend all this energy to chase this one girl and not give up.
And if I had eaten that much, I would not be able to jump around like that.
Normal creatures, after a meal, especially whole meals, they want to go rest.
2 whole people, they want to go rest.
Right, so it's just killing, eating everyone, and it has to have this girl.
Right.
But then it gets her there, and it's like, oh, let me go in really slowly.
Like Freddy Krueger and shit. And then Chris Pratt bursts in, shoots it twice, the gun's out of bullets, and then suddenly, was it the Blue comes charging into the room, and then Chris Pratt hops on the bed, puts his arm around the girl, and they just sit there and watch the thing like it's on television. They just sit there. And they watch it.
Why at no point
leave the fucking room?
By the way, why didn't they never get under the bed? I mean, this is the first. Whenever you're afraid of a person coming, you get under the bed. It's not even under the bed, just
not even under the bed, just
Right? Yeah. So.
And then, I mean, the only other thing to talk about is, I first of all, I do not get why they sat there and I was shaking my head again. I was like, you're just going to sit there on the bed? There are 2 exits at your disposal, and you're going to sit here and watch for like 30 seconds before you even go, oh, shouldn't we leave now? This is the distraction we've all been waiting for. And then they pick the most dangerous thing where they have to scale the outside of the fucking building instead of going back into the house where there are steps and rooms and doors and everything.
Yeah.
So all of that happens. And then we get to a point where they're like, these dinosaurs are going to die. Remember
That's a hell of a lot of fucking chemicals to keep in that place. Like every toxic fucking flammable fucking kill you dangerous thing ever.
And with the little generic signs that say flammable gas, which we've joked about in stuff that we've worked on before. Flammable gas, and it says toxic gas. Just toxic gas.
Wouldn't it say exactly what it is? Like hydrochloric acid or whatever? Fucking...
Right. So then they're like, oh, these dinosaurs are gonna die.
Great, I'm thinking.
We gotta let them out of there.
After everything they've been through. And they're gonna escape and
So we gotta let them out of there, and then wiser heads prevail, finally, for the first time in this whole encounter. And they don't push the big red
shiny red
big red button that says emergency exit that opens a giant bay door that you'd only need for to let a dinosaur out. Why does this exist? Why would the button called emergency exit exist? Anyway, they decide not to do it, and then the little girl, who we found out is a clone, which, by the way, is the one interesting element of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to know more about that, but it was just one of those things that they threw away. It's like an attempt to be the I Am Your Father from, oh, she's a clone, but it's like, she's a clone and then he gets eaten by a dinosaur.
So now, are we going to do like in Aliens 4 with the next Jurassic movie and combine human and dinosaur DNA to make a dinosaur killing hunter person?
If that happens in the next movie, Brad,
just shoot ourselves in the head.
I owe you a high five. I owe you a high five. But then the little girl, who's decided she's now somehow, in a way, related to the dinosaurs because they are clones and she is a clone. Too.
They just tried to kill me, and that was the most horrific thing I've ever experienced, and I will have nightmares for the rest of my life and PTSD.
But I'm going to let them out anyway.
I will never experience a safe moment because I will always fear they will come and kill me. But they should live! Click! Let the human murdering animals into the world.
The end.
Yeah,
The end.
at the very end of the movie, if you stick around, they show the pterodactyls flying freely, and the velociraptor looked like it was in California. I don't know. And then
They sure did travel pretty far distances.
freaking pterodactyls.
Those dinosaurs did travel pretty far distances with nobody knowing about them.
God, what a nightmare.
Because there weren't people running away from the dinosaurs in these things. They were just,
God, dude. Like, I still can't get over the pterodactyls.
Anyway, so that's
That's the new world is dinosaurs are everywhere. And apparently they did the 2x2 Noah thing so they can procreate, I guess. How did they do that in such a short...
How did it do that?
In less than a day, within hours, it seemed like. They just had them all.
Anyway, that's our review of Jurassic World 2.
The more we talk about it, the more I don't like it.
I
It
don't
had
like
fun
it.
moments.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Let's end this. We're over an hour.
All right, that's it. We'll talk to you next time. If you go see this movie and don't like it, I don't want to hear about it because you've been warned. We've been talking for an hour about how this movie is terrible. It's not even laughably bad like the movie The Meg is going to be.
Or Sharknado.
Yeah.
You won't even watch Sharknado.
I won't watch Sharknado. Anyway, that's it for this time. We will see you next week. Any famous last words?
Yeah. The end.